When our children were young, we all started our school day together. And we said the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. We opened with prayer and a Bible verse. It was our regular beginning, and then there was a set schedule for the day, a class list, and we spent at least 50 minutes on every subject, and I was the primary teacher. But as the children have gotten older, we have another homeschooling teacher that helps me, that does a lot of the math and science and some history teaching, but also they've done many classes online. Some of them university classes, even while they're in high school, others online school classes. And because of that, their schedules are all different, and we may not start school at the same time of day or finish at the same time. So the schedule becomes different, and it really, I think, homeschooling can be some of the best training for working hard, because the schoolwork becomes like their job. Their job is to learn. Their job is to do their very best to accomplish their work in the best way that they can. And a lot of that is up to them. If they don't focus, it's much like an employee at a job. You don't maybe get the promotion, you don't get the raise. You're not seen as being capable and self-starting. And those are habits that can be well learned in the homeschool, where as they get older, children have more freedom to set their schedule, and they bear the honor of doing it well and getting good grades and moving on, or they bear the consequences of not doing their work and getting a poor grade and being held back or being kept from enrolling in more classes that they even want. And so those consequences are real, and they help young teens to learn that their decisions have consequences, and we don't protect them from the consequences. And I think it's some of the best growing up they do in preparation for adult life.
Oh my goodness, is he going to fall over? Ah, look at that. Oh my gosh. Okay, all right, break time's over. Go back to your work.
That was pretty good.
All right, so we had an issue with not looking at things they shouldn't on the computer. Why don't you tell us a little bit about why you dealt with that the way you did, instead of just the knee-jerk, stop doing that?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that everything in life, in the home, in the classroom, at work, we have a tendency to take ourselves a little too seriously. And yes, we're doing important work, and schoolwork is valuable. They need to learn, they need to do their work, but we also need to laugh together. I want to affirm them. I don't want to always be saying, stop this, don't do that, quit that. I don't want to continually be giving messages of you are bad, you are not a good student, you are not a smart person, you are lazy, you are wasting time. I want to build into them affirmation that they are capable, and that they, of course they have other interests. And you know, if I had looked and his computer had had something inappropriate on it, I would have reacted differently. But if it's like a funny home video of dogs or you know, just funny things, then we can all enjoy that, and we can all stop for a minute. I need a break during the day too. I need to get up and stretch. I need to interact with other people. We are home schooling, And home should be a place of joy and enjoyment of one another, appreciation for one another, affirmation, understanding. It's not an institution. It is a place of nurturing.
Okay. So you think that's really important? So even beyond the designated break times, it's okay to kind of laugh with them a little bit.
Yeah, take a minute to laugh sometimes. I mean, I know what it's like to be learning something that is difficult and not to have, a classroom of people and the teacher right there to explain things or to interact with. And we are not just raising robots or students that are educated in their minds. We are raising people that are educated in their minds, but also people of understanding and kindness and compassion for one another. And if we cannot show that in our own homes, how will we ever expect our children to show that in the real world as well?
Very good.
Come on.
David, why don't you just take a break for a couple minutes and then go back to it?
I don't even need to know any of this when I grow up. It's like, why am I even here?
You know what? Just grab your book and come here for a minute. Look, it's just school. Everybody does it. Kids all over the world, millions of kids, have to read Beowulf and understand it, and it's part of what will make you an educated person. Nobody finds it easy. Okay, so you'll get through this just like a million before you have, and a million after you will too.
I don't even like this.
I know, but it's required, and you have to do it. To complete the class, you have to make it through this unit, and you will.
Okay, he's still not concentrating, so.
Well, I would give him some space
I gotta think of
as a
more.
teacher. I mean, you're not, if I
Fiddle,
stay
fiddle.
on him every second, you're not reading, I don't see you reading, I don't see you doing it.
Yeah, that's what we're.
That is counterproductive.
Okay, so-
That's not going to get him to do anything. If he sits back down, I just told him to take a break, let him,
But so like you're just gonna let him still have the attitude?
well, for a little while. I mean, I don't think you can make people feel the
Okay.
way you want them to feel.
Okay, so we saw the situation with David being really frustrated, but let's talk about the reality that it's not going to be solved in just a few minutes. So, what else would probably go on if he's still frustrated like he is now?
Well, everybody gets frustrated, and as parents and as parent teachers, we need to remember we get frustrated too. And someone telling us not to be upset or to calm down or just buckle down and do it is probably not going to be very helpful. But that's where, as a home educator, you have an advantage because you know your student better than other people, than a teacher in a school is going to know your student. And so you'll know when it's just frustration or when they really are struggling because they can't understand material. And you'll know when it's time to just, keep them working on it, or when you need to intervene to help explain, to read it together, to set a challenge together, a goal. And it helps because you know your student and you are for them, and they need to feel that.
Justin, why don't you bring your book to me and show me how much work you've gotten done?
Okay.
Supposedly 438 pages.
Okay, well, you should have made it another 5 pages by now. You go to, before you go sit down and work, I want you to get the broom and the dustpan and clean up the mess you just made. Valerie, don't touch any of the mess. Justin's gonna clean it up. You can get up and step back so he can do his work. Let's be quick about it, Justin. You've got work to do.
I noticed that they were both bugging her, but you only got Justin. Can you tell us why?
Well, in this situation, to me, Justin was the ringleader. He was the one who had begun the behavior that was being disruptive. And by calling his attention to it, making him come to me with his work, pointing out that he wasn't getting his work done, and then making him clean up the mess, it sent a clear message to David. He didn't want to be called up. He didn't want me looking at his work to see what he didn't have finished yet. And so he stopped on his own. So rather than having to have a big blow up and a big lecture time with everybody, you're trying to just draw them back to what they're supposed to be doing. And again, these are students that are older, junior high and high school. They understand the work they're supposed to be doing. They know what school is. It's not like they expect to be out playing all the time. And so I think you want to deal with disruptions in the classroom as easily and quickly as possible, and with the least amount of anger expressed, frustration, short tempers. Those do not make a really fun classroom. And at the end of the day, for me, I want my children, my students, to love learning. And if I am just full of lecture and threats and reprimands for them, I undermine the very atmosphere that I want to create in our classroom.
Can I go back to my seat now?
Yeah.
Clean up? Is it all? Is your desk completely clean?
One piece.
Okay.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
When it's cleaned up, you can
All right,
get
good.
your work done.
Thanks.
You should really pay attention.
Oh, my mom. Stop bugging me. You bug me all the time. You always get in my way. Okay? I'm the older one. Okay, just go off.
It doesn't matter, I'm not favorite anyways.
No, you're not. It doesn't even matter.
Yes, I am. I'm always the one doing
Alright,
the
we're
work.
gonna keep saying that, but I'm not. I'm not gonna listen to you. So annoying all the time.
No, I'm not. Just shut up.
Shut your mouth.
Do your work.
Shut up.
You shut up.
Shut up.
I'm tired of this. Just do your work.
Shut up.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly. That's what I thought. Right back at you.
What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Why don't we go ahead and switch subjects? Go ahead and put away the microscope, and let's move on to math, okay?
Okay, so why did you go to changing subjects?
Well, I think sometimes it's better just to break the atmosphere of argument and contention and just put that away, start something new, a change of focus, a change of atmosphere and attitude. Siblings are going to squabble, they're going to fight. Not everything has to be a major deal. It may be a lot of arguments in the classroom, a lot of distraction in the classroom comes because of boredom, or one person is finished and the other one isn't. You also have to remember you've got a lot of subjects that are due in a day, so maybe it's just time to put that one thing away and have to start something completely new. It's more of just one way to stop what's happening at the moment and completely change the focus.
So I noticed you didn't just say, you didn't ask them why they were fighting, you didn't go into any of that. Like, is there a specific reason?
Well, I was thinking, David and Valerie aren't my children, but all siblings argue. And I don't feel that as a parent, it's my job to mitigate every argument that they have. They have to learn to come to terms with each other. I don't think I have to know everything and say you were right and you were wrong. It was obvious to me there was no violence involved. They weren't up, pushing and shoving and hitting each other. It was a battle of words. Things were getting heated, and that's why I just wanted to change the atmosphere, refocus on something else. But I don't think that our jobs as parents are to referee every little squabble between our children. They have to learn to get along with each other. They have to learn to get along with other people in the world, people of all ages, of all different backgrounds. And if I'm jumping in at every point, solving every problem, making some decree of who's right and who's wrong, where will they ever learn the skills to talk, to disagree, to remain civil in disagreement, and to come to some kind of way to move forward, even if it's that they have to agree to disagree?
Shut up, Ellie. I'm so done with you. Okay.
I'm tired of this.
Shut up.
Shut up!
Just be quiet. You're like always, you're so loud, like all the time.
Cut.